but absolutely what you said is completely true. I think just the lifestyle, and I spoke about this on the podcast before, just the lifestyle that we have in London, the thirst for ambition, and I want to ask you about that also. Just how about like especially at this young age, because we really do not think about the fact that we're still growing, we're still becoming human beings, we're learning how to be human, we're learning how to deal with ourselves, our own traumas, our own like our own things that we want to set ourselves for life properly. And then we have this whole ambition packed on, and you have to kind of achieve by this age. You're in this competitive environment where everyone around you is also achieving, so you feel like you're falling back even when everyone's running their own race. And at the end of the day, this is just life. We're all just going on our own journey. So I wanted you to speak on just like, how do you balance the fact that we know that about ambition, but we're also ambitious people, where we don't want to just be sitting in our house not doing anything every day. We know there's a goal to achieve, we know there are steps we have to take to get there, and we put ourselves under pressure to do that. So how do you balance the pressure that you put on your own self to achieve the goals you want versus the pressure you think society puts on you, which is kind of undeserved, to get the things that they think you should get?
Yeah. Well, that's a hard one.
That's a hard question. That's all your hard questions.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think that for the most part, it is very easy for, like, I'm gonna go back to the weed thing here.
Go on.
Weed essentially offers almost like pseudo justification in doing nothing, because it's like, oh, well, I could be doing that, but now I'm fucking high. So yeah, exactly. Now I got high, but like, what it gets back to is more that, yeah, it comes down to self-pressure. Like, I wasn't really given any pressure by my parents to do what I'm doing. I just am because I've wanted to since I was like 12. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to be a professor. I've always wanted to be an author. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, I just do. And it's at a point where I'm so laser focused on that I very consciously choose not to get, like, you know, for example, a 9 to 5, which most people would consider like, okay, cool, that's like the safety net. Mm-hmm. I very consciously choose not to allow myself to have a safety net, mm-hmm. so that I can maintain what I perceive as like focus on what I want to get out of my life. Mm-hmm. Whether or not I'm correct in that, I guess I will find out, but it really does provide more incentive for me to, for example, get into my PhD. It's like, because if I don't, I'm, you know, just going to be stuck working this like blue collar job that I fucking hate for another year. It's like, what the hell am I doing then? Where is this going? But it's also about like, not like, you have to set a bar for yourself that you feel is attainable, and that can be whatever it is. You know, for everyone it's different. It also fluctuates day by day. It's not a hard bar. Like, for me, the hardest thing I can do one day if I'm really fucking depressed is just getting my ass up and brushing my teeth. Sometimes that's all I achieve. That is okay. Other times I get up, I go to work, I work for 10 hours, I come home, I write for like 3 hours, I make notes on whatever the fuck else. Like, I'm focusing on my career path, my goals, because that's what helps me get out of bed. But you need to find those reasons to get out of bed in the first place. And if you ain't going to do it for yourself, no one is going to do it for you.
100%.
Like, for me, I almost consider myself I literally do consider myself incredibly lucky that I have the kind of partner that I do, where for me, it is literally an incentive to get out of bed every single day, because I know that the person I wake up next to gives just as much of a fuck about their dreams as I do. And that to me provides a constant burning incentive. And at times, I'm not going to lie, it has worn on me a bit, because I felt like, you know, shit, I'm just not measuring up. Like, what's up with me? Why am I so garbage? But you have to reassess that in itself, and that's something that I'm also now actively doing, again, since I've managed to stop letting myself get so fucking high constantly. Is that I'm really starting to confront that idea of like, what does it actually mean to have compassion for myself? What does it actually mean to make room for myself? Because I clearly have not done that in a way that was actually conducive, other than just getting fucking high constantly, which wasn't really making room for myself. It was just making room for getting fucking high. And it went nowhere. But, you know, now, like, the minute that I stop smoking weed, I'm incentivized to write, I'm incentivized to read. I feel so much more passion for my own existence. And I do honestly think that's because all of a sudden it's like, I've restored that feeling of like, my life is my own, in my own hands. It's because I wrangled it back from what was ultimately my addiction to weed. And does that mean that I'm never gonna smoke weed again? Fuck no. I'll probably smoke fucking weed today, but that doesn't derail the point because I'm no longer doing it habitually. I'm doing it purely recreationally, and that divide is one that I lost so long ago, and it's one that I finally managed to reclaim for myself, largely because of them, largely because of my entire support network, and I'm lucky in that sense. Most people don't have a support network like I do. Like, I am a very, very fortunate human. Like, obviously it's easy for me to be like, woe is me, the tragic white person whose mum is dying of cancer, blah, blah. But, like, not really. Like, I mean, yeah, does it suck? Yes. But, like, it literally sucks for everyone all the time. So why am I going to bitch? Like, what does that achieve? I should just get off my own ass and actually make something of the opportunity that people, my parents specifically, sacrificed so much to give me. Like, like, for example, I think about, like, my dad. Like, I was talking to him about this the other day. Like, part of what incentivizes me to get a PhD so much, especially now, is the fact that he never had that opportunity. I could totally have seen my dad as, like, a history professor, as, like, a journalist, you name it. Because when he was a kid, he wanted to be a journalist. And what's really sad is that, like, because of his own family circumstances, he didn't even get to finish high school because he had to drop out so that he could get a job and help out. And that fucking sucks. Like, my dad was destined for so much more than he was given. But he managed to give me so much in return. Like, the least I can do is give it back to them in the only way that I know how, and that's to make my fucking stupid book and to become a professor.
Okay. I've got a question. I think just to even answer my own question about ambition, I think, yeah, you said it right. I think, like, you have to be able to balance the ambition that you have in yourself internally, because I think for people like us, if we don't have the mentality that we want to achieve, then we get into our own heads and we have battles of ourselves. Over time we just can't, because we know we're high achievers, we know how much we can do, we know how much we're blessed with the opportunity, like you just said, that your dad gave you and my mum gave me. It's just understanding that these people work so hard for us, and when we're wasting it, it becomes a demon on our backs.
But what is wasting it?
I feel like,
because that, like, I get what you're saying, but to me that actually negates the individual room where, like, you could make the argument that technically I was wasting my opportunity that was given to me because I didn't go to med school or, like, whatever else, or that I was smoking so much fucking weed for nearly 10 years. But that doesn't retract from the fact that at the time where I was smoking that much weed, I felt as if I truly needed to, just to get through the day.
But what do you think now?
What do I think now? I think I was suffering.
And that's what I mean. So it's like, it's about how you viewed the situation afterwards.
I think I was suffering. I was on survival mode. And I still managed to achieve exactly what I hoped for by the age that I hoped I would, which is bizarre. But straight up, I don't know if I could call it luck, because I don't believe in luck. But whatever happened very much in my favor.
Again, I think,
and a lot of it was because at the end of the day, I fucking worked.
I think it's up to the individual, like you said, and I think some individuals feel like, so for me, speaking for myself, I feel like I can do so much more, and I've always felt like I could do so much more. Yeah. And back for example, back in uni, when I was in my room just watching anime and not doing anything, in that moment I thought I was just having fun. I'm just watching anime. I'm doing things that I like in the moment, getting gratification. Yeah. But afterwards, when I do more, I look back and I'm like, oh, I could have done so much more. And so that perspective that I have now, because of how much I've grown, gives me some understanding about going forward. Yeah. So now going forward, I know that if I'm ever in a state like that and I'm telling myself I'm having fun, then I know that, wait, you actually gotta, like, be self-aware. Are you actually having fun? Is this what you really want in life? I guess it kind of refocuses your perspective on what you want. Yeah. And then in the future, when that time does come again, like inevitable will for all of us, how are you going to react to that? And I think there's definitely a level of especially with ambitious people, and I wanted people to just understand that the level of seesawing that happens, you go up and down just because of the fact that life throws stuff at you. And you mentioned, as a question I actually wanted to ask, you mentioned about your partner and how important it was for you to have someone that like that, who was ambitious. I wanted to ask you about love. I always ask people about love on this podcast just because I think it's so important that, the dialogue changes around it. We've become I think we're speaking about it today, we've become very transactional in our way we deal with people. I
Yeah.
still want people to understand that we're dealing with people.
I mean,
And
I think that my partner, like the, sorry, continue what you were saying.
yeah, so basically the question I'm asking is just that first off, what do you think about the concept of love? What's your relationship to just how our society has redefined the concept of love, and just also your personal experience, speak on how it is for you, how your partner and you deal with it differently.